niya, tatawa-tawa ka pa. Don't. Katiwala na ang pinag-usapan dito and you're still laughing. Hindi na nga masagot-sagot ng mga kasama mo and you're still laughing. Don't do that, Yusek Sumbilla. No. I don't like that. Huwag kang iling-iling. Para bang pinagtatawanan mo kami rito. Don't
That
do
is
that.
true.
Don't ever do that, please. You're being disrespectful. Para bang, don't do that. Baka gusto mo, ikaw ang tatanong-tanong, didiinin ko rito. No, I'm not. I'm serious. This is a serious matter. We're talking about kapakanan ng mga farmers dito and yet tatawa-tawa ka pa. Don't. Andito ba ang Internal Audit Service? May present ba taga-Internal Audit Service? Wala? Okay. Then, may tanong lang ako, ano? Noong May 1 to May 31, 2022, nag-issue po ang DA yung notice to proceed tungkol po doon sa fertilizer na nanalo sa bidding ang Universal Harvester. Kilala niyo po yung Universal Harvester, right? And yet, pagdating po ng May 30, 300 bags lang na fertilizer ang na-deliver and May 31, 1,000 bags. Ang nasa kontrata, 40,000 bags of fertilizer.
Ilan yung ano?
40,000 bags po na nalo sa bidding itong Universal Harvester. 40. Yes. And yet, ang na-deliver lang ay 1,300 bags.
Fertilizer is National Rice Program. Kanino sinupply? Kanino sinupply? Lahat sila nabili ng fertilizer.
Nasa listahan po ito ng Internal Audit Service kaya nga hinahanap ko kasi itong record na ito, nakuha ko to sa Internal Audit Service. Ito pang matindi. Nagpa-extend siya. So dapat kinansela na yung kanyang kontrata at pinasa na sa next lowest bidder. Adding insult to injury, the following year, nagkaroon ulit ng second bidding, Universal Harvester na naman. Napakalakas naman itong si Universal Harvester. Alam to ng mga taga-DA. Sir, tumatawa kayo. Yusek Sebastian, baka meron alam ka rito. Hindi mo alam? Dapat alam mo, ikaw yung Yusek eh. Paulit-ulit na lang, palaging lumulutang itong Universal Harvester. Region 3, Region 9, Region 4A, Universal Harvester. Ang palaging pumapalya and yet paulit-ulit na nananalo sa bidding. At pinapasali pa rin sa bidding. Dapat blacklisted na ito. What's going on? Can anybody answer me?
From our ComSec, they said they invited Director Christopher Banyas, Director Internal Audit Service of DA, but did not show up. Wala. Director Christopher Banyas. Kilala niyo siya? Universal Harvester sa computer ko sino.
Nung sa Region 9, walang nangyari na bidding para sa worth 230 million pesos contract for the purchase of fertilizers. Ang ginamit lang ay purchase order. Na alam naman ninyo, bawal. Dapat bidding. We're talking of 230 million. Dapat may makasuhan dito ng plunder. Madam Chair, kailangan maimbestigahan to ng malaliman.
Sino ba nagbibid ng fertilizer? Alam ko pinakamalaking regions. So for whom? For whom? The National Rice Program or to any other program?
This is the national right.
Paraging region, miski National Rice Program, region. Oh, sinong region? Sino? Region 9.
Ganito kasing proseso niya.
Tawagin yung director ng Region 9. Magpakilala ka, iho, kung sino ka.
Good afternoon po. Ray Campomanes from DA Region 9. OIC Red.
So,
Sabi ni Senator Tulfo, award daw kayo sa Universal Harvester ng 230 million worth of fertilizer without bidding. You issued a purchase order.
Now, meron pong public bidding siya, Senator.
meron.
Meron po.
At bakit ang harvester ang nanalo kung meron?
Meron silang, at the time when that was bidded out, I think there are, because I was not yet the director at that time, there are 3 bidders who participated, and the lowest bidder is Universal Harvester po.
And what's your name?
Ray Campomanes po.
Ray Campomanes.
Reynaldo Campomanes.
Mr. Reynaldo Campomanes, pumalpak na itong harvester, paulit-ulit, dapat blacklisted na. Bakit niyo pa rin pinapasama ito sa bidding process? Bakit niyo pinapayagang sumali pa rin ito? Alam mo yung proseso, di ba? Kapag ikaw ay nanalo sa bid, dapat nandiyan na yung mga fertilizer sa warehouse. In fact, merong mga taga-DA na gustong inspect yung warehouse para to make sure na nandiyan na yung fertilizer. Ang nangyari, ayaw niya kayong papasukin. Ayaw niya papasukin yung mga taga-DA to inspect. Dapat yun, pag nanalo sa bidding, meron na notice to proceed, agad-agad may di-deliver na yung mga fertilizer at mababayaran siya. What happened here is, wala pa pala siya mga fertilizer sa warehouse niya. I-order pa lang niya. So ang nangyari, nung nanalo sa bidding, pupunta sana mga taga dito, inspect the warehouse, hinaharang niya. And then what happens next? Humingi siya ng extension. Hanggang sa later on, nag-buy time siya, saka palang paparating kanya mga fertilizer. 230 million. Tama? Nanalo siya sa bidding. Are you sure? Can you show us documents pertaining to that? And then my next question is, alam nyo naman na paulit-ulit na ito pumapalpak itong universal na ito, dapat blacklisted na ito, and yet, palagi pa rin siyang sumasali at nananalo. God damn.
Sir, hindi ko po alam yung nangyari sa ibang region. Doon po sa amin.
No? Alam mo. Kasi bago ka, ikaw naman, niloloko mo naman kami iho. Sorry, I'll call you iho kasi ginagawa mo kaming tanga, parang bata. Hindi naman kami mga bata rito. Ikaw siguro ang bata. Bata, you were just born yesterday. You have to do due diligence. Sa lahat ng sasali sa bidding, gumagawa kayo ng cross-matching. Nagtatanong kayo. Tumatawag kayo sa mga ibang region. Sino bang supplier nyo dito? Sino bang nanalo? Ano bang record nito sumasali sa amin? As simple as that. Nag-check kayo. Gumagawa ka ng research. Sino ba itong harvester na ito? 230 million ang sasalihan niyang bidding. Then, ang pinag-usapan natin by the hundreds of millions, dapat sobrang ingat kayo.
Senator Tulfo, from the Universal Harvester, the owner is Dr. Milagros Ong Hao, founded in 2003, based in Quezon City, agricultural product wholesaler. Here.
Sir, di ako naniniwala na hindi nyo alam. Especially kung malaking amount ang pinag-uusapan, the least you could have done is make some inquiry sa iba't ibang region, do some research about this company kung may kakayahan ba talaga sila na panindigan yung kontrata na pinanunulan nila. And you didn't do that. Pikit mata. Pinasali nyo sila. Maybe you don't know, or maybe you know, na ito ay dapat blacklisted na. Bakit, sir?
Senator, bago pa lang po ako nakapasok sa DA, this transaction took place with my predecessor, kaya hindi ko
2022.
masyadong
So, sino yung predecessor mo?
si Director Dennis po.
Is he still here? Is still with DA?
Yes.
Pwede natin
Andyan.
patawag? Ang sa akin lang kasi dito, Madam Chair, dapat itong harvester na ito, itong universal harvester, dapat to blacklisted na. And yet, from Region 9, Region 3, Region 4A, siya palaging namamayagpag, siya palagi ang nananalo.
Dennis here. Kasi hindi naman yata siya retired. Bata pa naman yan. Dennis. 4A siya. Kasama daw 4A. 4A.
4A.
School yung Region 4A. Siya ba yung nangyari to?
Madam Chair, habang hinahanap po, with the permission of Senator Tulfo,
Yes.
tatanong ko lang ho, I guess, sa central office, ano ho ba yung polisiya nyo pagdating sa pagba-blacklisting? Hindi ho ba dapat, dapat ho ba can the regional offices decide already? Or dapat ho ba galing sa central office? Na parang, oh, ito na yung mga listahan ng mga kumpanya na wag nyo nang i-entertain sa bidding.
Well, the regional directors are automatically in charge of the respective regions.
Have what you call, di ba minsan yung dinedelegate mo a certain amount but beyond that you go up. So ano yung amount na they can decide?
In as far as
Threshold.
the Department of Agriculture is concerned, there's no limit to.
What a regional director can do? Is that right?
I have released that directly to the regions and let them be responsible. But on the question of Senator Tulfo,
Oh,
since I came in August of 2022, I don't know about that allegation, but I'm assuring you, we shall do something about it. This is the only time that I learned about this anomaly. I'll attend to that.
where is
That's-
the regional director of 4A? Ayan na. Saan ang regional director ng 4A?
Ma'am, actually, our director is currently on sick leave po, kaya hindi siya naka-attend dito. But I'm El Obligado po, PMED Chief of Region 4A. And according po dun sa aming pagtatanong sa aming mga kasama, ano po, ang Universal Harvester po ay hindi na po namin, supplier po namin siya dati noong 2018, but currently po wala po siyang sinusupply sa amin na fertilizer.
2022 po, sumali siya sa bidding.
Ang pagkakaalam po na, according to our rice program coordinator, 2018 pa po yung last na supply nila sa
Hindi po. Magpakita po kayo ng dokumento to prove na nung 2018 pa blacklisted na sila. O 2022 na hindi na sila sumali. You show us those documents na sino yung nag-provide ng mga fertilizer na nalo sa bidding noong 2021 up to 2022. Kasi may record ang internal audit service na sumasali pa ito ng bidding as far back as 2022. As late as 2022.
Noted.
Record nyo.
Yes, ma'am. Noted po, sir. We will
Okay.
provide po.
Siguro next time, mag-show up, magpakita yung taga-internal audit service. And then, ako din siguro magpapakita ng dokumento sa inyo next time. Kasi ito, mabilisan lang ito nakuha kong information na ito eh. Now, composting. Binibigay ito sa mga taga-LGU, may budget na 500 million? Okay, or more. Ito po ay binibigay sa LGU. Tama?
Senator, yung composting either sa LGU or sa co-op or to any association, kasi ang isang composter can service 1,000 households, so it should be a group of people
Tama.
that will do it.
And how much is a composting machine? Do we-
800,000 po.
800,000. So, ano ho ba ang pag-purchase, procure ng composting machine? Is it
Bureau of Soil and Water
Director,
Management.
Director Nilo.
Balik ka dito. Ayan na.
Magandang hapon po, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Senator Tulfo. Dr. Gina Nilo po from the Bureau of Soils and Water Management. So we have a program po on composting and so the question is about how do we...
Just na po itong composting program, ano po? Am I right? 8 years na.
Yes, about
Right,
8 years
okay.
po.
And it is
70 maybe.
Programa to, it's just funds. Oh, because of the high cost of fertilizer.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can produce fertilizer out of kitchen and garden waste. So I thought
Yes.
that this will enable the farmer to produce their own fertilizer, provided they are given the composting machine. So you were given a budget of 1 billion in 3 years
2020,
ago,
yes, ma'am.
2021, and then 3 billion last year, this 2023.
Yes po, Ma'am.
And
Madam
then
Chair.
now I have asked the National Rice Program to give you a budget of 2 billion because I want every town in the Philippines to have a composter.
Yes.
They can produce their own fertilizer.
Yes, thank you. Thank you po.
I agree
Mr.
with you.
Chair.
Now, ang second question ko po sa inyo, Doktora, ay gumanda ba ang yield ng harvest since nagkaroon itong composting program at nakapaggastos na tayo ng bilyones? At ano-ano po yung lugar na nag-benefit ng gusto nito? And can you give us a comparative study, yung before composting and then during composting, kung nagkaroon pa ng pagbabago sa yield, sa harvest? Did
Answer that it was not supposed to improve the yield, the primary purpose. The primary purpose is you have free fertilizer. Kasi pag ikaw gumawa ng fertilizer mo, libre yon. Kasi ito comes from kitchen and garden waste. So yung parang ito, imbes na itapon sa landfill yung kitchen and garden waste, ginagawang fertilizer. Kasi ito, experience namin 20 years sa Las Piñas, we, all our kitchen and garden waste, which is 50% of the waste, we compost into fertilizer. And because of that, we don't throw the 50% of our waste. So ngayon, tapos nire-recycle yung plastic waste, we save 300 million a year from throwing away garbage.
tama po yun?
Oh, so the ano here is yung libre yung fertilizer. Tapos malinis yung bayan mo kasi you don't have to throw away the waste. You
Kaya nga-
recycle the waste.
Kaya nga, di ba, libreng fertilizer. So sana, dahil may fertilizer, gaganda yung yield ng harvest, right? Versus kung walang fertilizer. Ngayon, nabigyan ng
Would like to answer. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead, sir.
thank you very much, Madam Chair and Senator Tulfo. The use of organic fertilizer is actually part of our recommendations in improving the yield of our rice. So it's part of the balanced fertilization. So it's not just using purely organic. So for example, Madam Chair, Mr. Senator, in our recommendation, we recommend at least 10 bags of organic fertilizer in addition to the use of the rice straw that is already in the field. Then you can also add additional inorganic fertilizer or biofertilizer. Now, the significance of using organic compost is that it has other micronutrients that are not available in inorganic. In inorganic, you have only N, P, and K at most. Whereas in organic fertilizer, you have the micronutrients like magnesium, sulfur, zinc, and then it also enhances the soil quality, the water retention, and then the sustainability of the rice farming in the long term.
Itong composting po, fertilizer, ginagamit niyo po to sa palay?
As part of the fertilization
Sa
process
palay.
sa rice.
Okay, sa rice. Hindi ho angkop dapat to kasi patubig yung sa rice lulutang po itong compost.
Hindi sir, kasi they have to be composted properly. If you just use the the rice straw or the waste material without composting it, then it will float. But if it is properly using those composting machine, it's properly composted,
Okay.
and then it is degraded, then it is incorporated properly in the soil.
So do you have study to,
Use it in vegetable also.
yeah, I don't see any problem with vegetable kasi Madam Chair, yung information na tanggap ko, hindi bagay sa vegetable, okay ito in composting, pero pagdating sa rice, hindi dahil sa rice tubig, patubig yan. So nandoon yung possibility na lulutang to itong composting.
It's part of our recommendation, Madam Chair and Mr.
Rice, because they told me that compost with animal manure is very suited for rice. Can we call field rice now?
Yeah, this is actually what I'm saying is part of the recommendation of field rice, Madam Chair. Jan?
Madam Chair, Mr. Senator Tulfo, sir. Opo, yung ang kalahatan po natin siya tignan, bahagi po yung napoproduce from the composting machine, yung organic fertilizer. Sa rice po, isang paggamit nito, sa pagpupunla po nung planting material, sa seedbed pa lang, ginagamit siya. Para yung pong mga seedlings, kasi po yung kakayahan niya na gawing mas better yung soil, madali mong bunutin yung seedlings sa practice po sa rice bago mo ita-transplant pagka po gumagamit ng organic fertilizer. So ito po yung ngayon po yung tanong nyo na nakaka-contribute ba to sa yield. Mahirap pong i-separate kasi yung ano ba yung na-contribute niya dun sa total yield. Pero sa practice po talagang ginagamit yan ng ating mga farmers. Even po sa field rice, sa ating mga experiment stations po ginagamit.
So meron ba kayong studies nito na angkop talaga ang composting sa rice?
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, I would just like to give you an example. Do you remember in one time in Kadiwa at D.A, they were selling rice at 25 pesos? That those cooperative are using purely organic. They're not using inorganic. They're using organic fertilizer and biofertilizer. And their cost of production, because they only use organic and biofertilizer, their cost of production is such a level that because the co-op also do the milling, the drying, they were able to sell it at 25 pesos just early this year and late last year. So that is how they were able to reduce their cost. And this is actually one of the technologies that we are scaling in our proposal, Madam Chair, in that agro, we call it Eco-SRI. This is purely organic way of raising rice, of growing rice at a yield that it is still good for farmers who have limited resources. So that is the target of the Eco-SRI, Madam. Do you still remember the one clustering that we have in the proposal, Madam Chair?
Thank you for that answer. Now,
Pong farmer na nakakabenta sa Kadiwa store ng 25 pesos per kilo, their cost of production is 8 pesos per kilo sa Nueva Ecija. And I'm glad they're using this organic fertilizer for that. Kaya malaki ang tulong kasi hindi nabibili ng fertilizer. Tapos malaking bawas sa gastos yung pagbili ng fertilizer.
Yes, Madam Chair, and we want to scale that in bigger scale because the challenge always in the Philippines, Madam Chair, is that we demonstrate it, but then we don't do it in scale. So that's why in our program now, we want to fund it and do it in larger scale with more farmers participating, more cooperatives participating.
Paano mo binibili?
Um,
Kasi baka katulad ng fertilizer may issue. How do you go about buying the
Okay.
composter?
Thank you po, Madam Chair. First of all, yung question po tungkol sa does it increase yield? Definitely po, it increases yield. Because just this year, 2023, we have a nationwide program all over the country on the adaptive balanced fertilization strategy. We have several protocols po depending on the target yield. And most of our demonstration is the
Teka muna,
target yield
Doktora, if I can interrupt. Sabi mo, nagkaroon ng
increase.
increase sa yield.
Yes po.
So meron ho ba kayong comparative study nung before composting and then during composting? Ilan
Yes.
po yung na-increase na yield?
Yes po.
Kasi kung sinasabi niyo po nag-increase yung yield, bakit number one importer pa rin tayo number one importer na tayo ngayon ng rice? Na-overtaken pa natin yung China.
Yeah, so that is the very reason po why we have to scale up and the very reason why we need to make use and intensify the distribution of our CFBW, our composting facilities, because it really helps. Meron po tayong mga data to
Kasi kung pag-usapan natin yung yield ng rice para mabawasan ang ating importation at para makatulong sa ating mga farmer, okay ako sa composting. Pero hindi kaya mas maganda kung gumamit tayo yung urea, yung fertilizer na para mas mabilis yung yield sa production?
Okay, sir. Thank you po for that question. Actually, yes, truly that the requirement for rice and other crop is high, and this should be sustained by the use of inorganic fertilizer. But over time, we are damaging the soil because with the use of compost, we are improving the quality of the soil. It enables the nutrients to be stored in the soil. It enables the water to be stored in the soil. Pagka pure urea po, para tayong nagtatapon ng fertilizer, pag ini-apply po natin sa lupa, kung sobra pang pagkakalagay, it will go to the groundwater. At hindi naman po lahat ma-absorb ng crop. Subalit kung gagamit po tayo ng compost, this will be slowly available at the right time na kaya namang i-absorb ng crop. Kaya po yung adaptive balanced fertilization strategy, meron po kaming protocol. During the land preparation, doon po natin ini-incorporate ang compost. Then yung pag-apply po natin ng fertilizer, we do it at the right amount, at the proper time, and at the proper location. Wala pong maaaksaya. So
Okay.
that's the reason po kung bakit tumataas ang kita sapagkat wala pong naaksayang fertilizer, and at the same time, over time, long term of use ng ating compost will really save on fertilizer. Naka-store na po, may residual effect. For the next season, ma-achieve po natin
Ma'am,
ang pabawas.
napahaba na pong
Ay, sorry
explanation. Anyway, let's put it this way.
Excited po,
Thank you po.
Senator.
Other countries
Tapos
like
ko kasi.
Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, they use urea. I'm sure they're also concerned about their soil.
Madam Chair.
I asked the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization kasi 38% ng soil ng Philippines degraded. And I asked them, how do you solve the degradation of the soil? Their answer is compost all your waste and bring them back to the soil.
Madam
That's
Chair.
their answer.
Yeah.
So
Madam Chair, actually, Madam Chair, Senator Tulfo, one of the things that has kept us from attaining higher production is actually the limitations that we are encountering with our soil. And when I was looking at the different interventions that we have, we've been providing hybrid seeds, certified seed. We also provided fertilizer, urea, or inorganic fertilizer. And yet I was asking my colleagues, how come our yield is still at 4 tons per hectare, national average? So if you look at it now, you look at the data of the Bureau of Soils and Water Management, our soil are already degraded. We cannot just keep on adding urea, using urea or NPK, because there are now other micronutrients that are limiting our productivity. That's why in the Masagana Rice Industry Development Program now, Madam Chair, Mr. Senator Tulfo, we are implementing nationwide, large scale, not just the demonstration anymore, demonstration of peel rice or BSW or large scale, the application of balanced fertilization. And this recommends the application of of organic fertilizer or compost as basal, and then the use of biofertilizer that will help get nitrogen from the atmosphere and from the soil to reduce the use of inorganic fertilizer. So if you use biofertilizer, you use organic fertilizer, you reduce the use of urea, which is sometimes very expensive, which became very expensive, especially last year when the price of urea went up to 3,000. So we want to maintain higher productivity by also maintaining good soil health, Mr. Senator and Madam Chair.
So, dalawang issue na lang po, Madam Chair. Now, let's move on. Dito naman po sa Similya, sa SEEDS, yung RCEF, Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Meron kayong tinatawag na inbred program at meron kayong hybrid program. Tama? Ang inbred program, ang yield niyan, average 4,000 to 5,000 metric tons, kilograms. Okay. Versus sa hybrid, double the amount. So, bakit pa tayo pupunta dun sa inbred program na kalahati lang ng hybrid program ang ni-yield sa production?
Can I answer that, Senator Tulfo?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because I wrote that Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. And yung inbred seedlings po natin made in the Philippines. It was discovered by Phil Rice. Ang maximum niyang yield is 6 metric tons per hectare. And it costs 38 pesos per kilo. Yung hybrid seedlings po, lahat yon imported. And it costs 250 pesos per kilo. And ang yield po niya is, sabi nila, 8 to 10 metric tons per hectare. And para mo ma-achieve yung 8 to 10 metric tons per hectare, you have to have a lot of inputs na the poor farmers cannot afford. Kaya kami, sa poor farmers, we recommend the inbred seedlings kasi made in the Philippines at ang nagsusupply nito ay co-op of Filipino farmers.
Understand.
Yun. Kaya, at tapos, kung wala kang masyadong gagastahin sa inputs, okay sa'yo ang inbred. And then, kung mayaman ka na, you can buy expensive seeds and you can afford higher inputs, you use hybrid.
In addition to the explanation of the Honorable Madam Chair of the committee, Senator Villar.
Kasi di ba,
Yeah. Let me
Yusek,
explain
no,
further.
let me explain. Tapos na ang explanation.
Yung
She explained
additional,
on your
Why?
behalf.
Yeah.
Ako naman.
okay.
Kasi nga, Yusek, for me, logic tells us na kung itong hybrid nag-yield ng more production, double ng inbred, almost double. In fact, ito nga si Danilo Bolos ng Nueva Ecija, nakakapag-produce siya using the hybrid program, 15 metric tons per hectare. Yung Syngenta, Pioneer SL variety, it can produce 10 metric tons per hectare or more versus sa inbred na 4 to 5 lang. So if we're after high yield para mas marami tayong production, mas marami tayong harvest, edi dapat mag-concentrate sa hybrid.
That is correct, Senator
Right?
Tulfo.
O bakit pa meron pati itong inbred program na gumagastos tayo ng bilyones dito?
We have 4.8
Kasi mas
million.
maganda, gumastos na lang tayo ng bilyones sa hybrid para mas lalong dumami ang ating rice production.
We agree with you, Senator Tulfo.
Thank you.
We have 4.8 million hectares, and the target now is 1.9 million hectares will be for hybrid because we have to gradually increase. And our focus also is to maximize yield during the dry season, where the hybrid performs very well. The yields that you were mentioning were actually during the dry season. And during the wet season, we try to maximize the use of inbred, because as of now, our inbred can adapt much better during the wet season, where there is a lot of pests and diseases. But there are also hybrids now that are coming up that are also good during the wet season. But nevertheless,
Hindi, kasi may mga studies na yung hybrid is adaptable sa weather na pagdating sa mga ulan.
that is also true, Senator Tulfo.
Hindi, huwag kayong iiling-iling.
Yeah,
No, I don't like that. Huwag kang iiling-iling. Para bang pinagtatawanan mo kami rito. Don't
that
do
is
that.
true.
Don't ever do that, please. You're being disrespectful. Para bang, don't do that. Baka gusto mo, ikaw ang tatanong-tanong, didiinin ko rito. No, I'm not. I'm serious. This is a serious matter. We're talking about kapakanan ng mga farmers dito, and yet tatawa-tawa ka pa. Don't. Natiwala na ang pinag-usapan dito, and you're still laughing. Hindi na nga masagot-sagot ng mga kasama mo, and you're still laughing. Don't do that, Yusek Sumbilla. Thank you.
Can I continue, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in our strategy, we are combining these two, inbred and hybrid. But as of now, most of the areas are still using inbred because we have also to adapt our farmers. We started promoting hybrid in 2000, year 2000, Mr. Senator. And it was difficult for farmers to adapt because of, as the chair said, the cost requirement is sometimes higher because they have to use more fertilizer, and our farmers do not always have that resource to invest in hybrid. So gradually, there are more and more farmers going into hybrid. That's why this year our target is 1.5
Yan
billion
ang ibig
hectares.
sabihin.
Yeah.
Mag-invest kayo sa
We
hybrid
are
program.
investing.
Dahan-dahan na kayo umalis sa inbred.
That's correct.
Because konti lang ang yield ng inbred eh. Am I making sense? So, alisin nyo na itong inbred.
If you're an accountant, ang inbred seed is 38 pesos per kilo. Ang hybrid seedlings is 250 pesos per kilo. 38 over 250, it's ilang percent lower yon, di ba? So, minamaximize din natin yung pera natin. Plus tong hybrid, to produce that amount, you have to invest a lot of inputs na which the poor farmers cannot afford. So, bibigyan mo sila ng hybrid but they cannot afford the inputs.
Kaya nga nandiyan po yung
Hindi
gobyerno.
perform well yung hybrid.
Pero kaya
Parang yung hybrid is for yung kaya nila yon.
Yes.
The inbred is para dun sa wala naman silang masyadong amount for inputs, 'di ba? Kaya kami kino-combine namin. Parang there are 42 provinces na gumagamit ng hybrid, ng inbred, and 15 provinces na gumagamit ng hybrid. In fact, I would suggest, if I would be asked, that those with money and large farms and they can afford to buy hybrid, they buy hybrid. Oo, that's okay.
pero
But
kanina
for those who are poor, cannot afford the hybrid seeds and the inputs, then it's okay kasi 6 metric tons is not so bad because ang ating ngayong production is 4 metric tons per hectare, di ba? Pag naging 6 yan, that means it increased by 4 over 6 is 40 divided by 6, 60%, more than 60%. Ang shortage lang natin sa rice is 15%. So if we increase by 60%, we are self-sufficient in rice and we can export. So 6 metric tons per hectare is not so bad. In fact, that was I was talking to Senior Yusek Domingo Panginiban, and I was asking him what is ba yung ano nyo noon sa ano yung program nyo kay yung araw na masagana 99. Your target is 6 metric tons per hectare that you were not able to achieve, di ba? So we are trying to achieve that. So,
Thank you.
Kasi,
Anyway,
Senator, pag tayo naka 6 metric tons per hectare, self-sufficient na tayo sa rice and we can export.
right now, tayo po ay nag-import pa rin. Number one importer tayo. But anyway, maganda po yung sagot nyo kanina na naandahan, kayo po ay pupunta na doon sa hybrid program going towards that direction. Kasi nga naman, mas mataas ang yield. So bakit tayo pupunta doon sa mababa lang yield? Pwede naman pala doon sa mataas na yield. Pwede naman natin budgetan para maging affordable na itong hybrid program sa ating mga farmers subsidized ng gobyerno. Tama?
That's correct, Mr. Senator, Madam
Okay.
Chair. This year, it's 1.6
Senator
million.
Tulfo, there is a chismis that the hybrid seedlings we are importing is the reject from other countries. That's why nagtataka ako, bakit may nagrereklamo na ayaw tumubo yung hybrid seedlings. So
Eh di
depende
dapat
din sa
kasuhan po yung nag-import ng
depende
reject.
din sa quality of the hybrid seedlings. Kung maganda quality, maganda ang performance, pag pangit ang quality, pangit din
So
ang
kayo ba yung
performance.
nag-import ng reject ng mga seedlings yung sinasabi ni Senadora?
It's the
Dapat
private
makasuhan kung
sector
sino.
that is importing.
Well, then go after those private sector, whoever they are.
Yes, that's why
Tingnan mo kung totoo yung balita.
our program is now promoting local production of even hybrid. Mr.
Mas
Chair.
maganda talaga yung hybrid, right? Okay. Now,
But anyway, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senator, our target this year is 1.6 billion hectares. Next year is 1.9. And then the following year, if you will give us more budget. we will
using
probably-
hybrid
Yes.
program. Good. Anong nangyari sa ating mga farm school? Ilan ang farm school meron tayo? Kasi sa ngayon, it's a dying profession sa itong farming. Wala nang gustong maging farmer. And so meron tayong tinatawag na farm school, right?
Si Director Recoter will answer you
Yeah.
that, Senator.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Senator Tulfo, sir. Farm School is with TESDA. Learning Site for Agriculture is with ATI. And there are about 1,700 plus accredited by Agricultural Training Institute as Learning Site for Agriculture. And then TESDA accredit them as Farm School, in which they provide a scholarship program for the rice farmers, sir.
Okay. Ilan po ang mga nag-benefit dito? Ilan po yung mga graduates since ito po ay inumpisahan itong project na ito? Ilan po yung scholars? At magkano po yung na-subsidize ng TESDA para sa mga scholars ng farm school? At nasaan na po itong mga graduates sa farm school na ito? At nagkaroon na ho ba ng pagbabago sa rice production as a result of them undergoing training pertaining to farming?
Madam Chair, Senator Tulfo, sir. TESDA, under the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, was given 700 million pesos. Out of the 1 billion pesos, or 10% of the RCEP fund, 10 billion from the rice tarification law. And ATI, out of that 1 billion, we only are allocated 100 million. Together with field rice and
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Ang tinatanong ko po, ilan po ang mga nag-graduate dito sa every year? And since it started, ilan na po ang nakapag-graduate dito? Magkano na po inaipondo ng TESDA sa mga farm school na ito na ang beneficiary ay mga anak ng farmers? Tama? At nasaan na po ito mga graduates na ito? Can you give us a list, a breakdown?
yes,
Kasi may mga balita raw po na wala naman talaga estudyante.
I cannot speak in behalf of TESDA, Your Honor, but I can speak.
Hindi,
for-
dapat nagmo-monitor po kayo kasi program niyo po ito.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Hindi porket pinasa niyo sa test at tatalikuran niyo na ito. Yung budget nanggaling sa inyo dapat minomonitor niyo to make sure na well spent yung budget na binibigyan niyo sa test. To make sure na ito mga pinapadala niyong scholar sa farm school ay talaga nag-aaral at meron silang tututunan at nakakatulong sa ating rice production.
We'll provide you with the list, Your Honor. We'll, together with the Farmer Field School, it is the Farmer Field School that TESDA is offering with
Ilan po ang nag-graduate dito taon-taon?
um, from my list,
Magkano po ang budget allocated dito para sa mga farm school na ito, ma'am?
TESDA has conducted a total of
Yung number of graduates.
207,059.
27,000.
Yes.
Nasaan po itong 27,000, ano to, graduates?
Graduates po, sir.
Okay, nasaan na itong mga graduates na ito? Na,
It's-
na nagagamit ba nila yung natutunan nila sa farm school?
It's all over the country, sir.
I know, pero namomonitor nyo ba? Dapat meron kayong monitoring system to make sure na itong mga estudyante na graduate dyan ay talagang may natututunan. Kasi
Yes.
kung hindi, then better change yung mga curriculum doon. Baka siguro kailangan nyo po ng mga
That,
experts.
Senator Tulfo, you know, we did a study, the Philippine Institute of Development Study did a study of the comparison of the rice, production of rice in Vietnam and the production of rice in the Philippines. The cost of producing rice in Vietnam is 6 pesos per kilo of palay. The Philippines, it's 12 pesos per kilo of palay. So it's double. So the idea is yung proceeds from the tariff on imported rice, ibigay sa farmer para itaas ang yield nila, maging competitive sa
Thank you.
Vietnamese farmer kasi sila pinakamababa eh. And then that's why we created the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Ngayon na based on the study, ang problem kaya mahal ang ating palay kaysa sa Vietnam is una, mahal ang labor natin by 350 kasi ang difference is 6 pesos eh. 350 mahal ang labor natin. When your labor is high, then you have to mechanize. That's why we put 5 billion of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund to mechanization. And then, yung 250 daw is the low productivity of our farms, of our rice. So, seeds yun. Kaya that's why we decided may na-discovering certified inbred seed ang field rice, yun ang dinidistribute natin para tumaas ang productivity. But this mechanization and seed productivity cannot be implemented without teaching the farmers. That's why we allocated 1 billion of the 10 billion to training through the farm school. Oo. Kasi pag halimbawa ang mga farmer hindi binayaran ng TESDA yung tuition sa farm school, hindi mag-aaral yun, mahihirap yun, walang ibabayad yun na tuition. Kaya TESDA now is paying the tuition of the farmers studying in the farm school in order for them to mechanize, mag-aral silang patakbuhin yung makina, and at the same time, mag-aral sila to maintain. Kasi pag hindi na-maintain ang makina, useless din yung makina. And that is the complaint of our friends from the local, like the governor of Pineda of Pampanga, nakatunga nga daw yung mga equipment kasi pag nasira, hindi kayang gawin. Kaya dapat tuturuan silang mag-maintain. And at the same time, these inbred seedlings, kayang i-produce ng farmer in the future, tuturuan mo lang. Because the inbred seedlings na binibigay natin sa farmer, ang nagpo-produce ay mga farmer din, yung co-op of farmers. So, ini-empower mo na yung mga farmer that in the future, they can produce their own seeds and they can mechanize. Kasi po ako, nag-imbisita ako ng Association of Farm School in France, and they have thousands of farm school in France. Tayo sa Pilipinas, agricultural country, nung ipasa ko po yung farm school, abay ang tanong sa akin, ma'am, ano ba yung farm school? At ako po ay nagtayo ng farm school para sabihin ko sa kanila na pumunta kayo doon sa farm school ko, gayahin nyo kasi may farm school ako. And then this mechanization, nung pumunta din ako sa France, I met a farm owner, may 100 hectares siyang wheat farm. And I asked him, how many employees do you have? Sabi niya, I'm the only one. I'm fully mechanized. Imagine, 100 hectare, kayang iayos nung isang farmer dahil siya fully mechanized. So, parang yun din ang dream ko sa Pilipinas na in the future, ang mga farmer natin are all mechanized and then we can attract the young people to do farming because they don't have to plant with their hands. They just operate machine to farm in the Philippines. Kaya yun po ang idea ko ng farm school and I hope na we will be successful. It will take time because it's hard to train people. But siguro in the future, 5 years from now, we can see a very good result. Sabi po ng PhilRice, before we started this program, ang ating yield is 3.7 metric tons per hectare. Now it's 4.4. So medyo, sabi nila by next year daw, baka kaya na nila ang 5. So we're hoping kasi at least there is hope because in 1995 we signed an agreement with WTO that we will liberalize the importation of rice. They gave us from 1995 to 2018 to improve our competitiveness para ma-liberalize na natin ang importation of rice, na ang rice farmer natin ay competitive na. But after 2018, walang nangyari. That's why we liberalized, but we gave all the proceeds of the tariff on rice to the small farmers para sila ay maging competitive. Our dream is to make them competitive in the future. Yun lang po.
Thank you. So, if I may continue, pakimonitor nyo lang yung mga estudyante na nag-aaral dito. Sino-sino ba mga nagtuturo sa farm school na ito?
ATI trained the trainers and they are tapped by the farm school to become the trainers
Kaya nga,
also.
saan galing itong mga trainer?
From within the community, sir. Farmer
within the-
leaders also.
They're farmer leaders.
Yes, sir.
And
Ay,
these
yes,
farmer
sir.
leaders, they share their experience doon sa mga estudyante niyan. Wala kayong kinukuhang experts from other countries like Vietnam, Thailand, na kung saan mataas yung yield, rice production, na kung saan nag-import tayo. So maybe they're doing something that we're not aware of. So maybe we get experts from these countries na mataas yung rice production nila. So maybe kuha tayo ng mga teachers dyan na ikakalat natin sa mga farm school na ito.
Yes, sir. Yung trainers training po are trained by rice specialists coming from PhilRice, coming from the Agricultural Training Institute, from state colleges and universities and regional field offices.
Okay.
And they,
Kasi kanina sabi niyo po, parang yung mga farmers din sila. So meron din pala mga experts
yes, sir.
ng PhilRice,
Bali,
UP Institute of...
my level po, sir.
Okay.
The trainers are trained by the rice specialists, the experts in the field
Okay.
like PhilRice. And then those who were trained, trainers training, are the ones training the farmers at the Farmers Field School of TESDA.
Okay. Sige, thank you.
Thank you,
Ah,
sir.
Last na lang, may confidential fund ho, yung DA? May confidential fund? Meron?
Wala.
We have 50 million for
50 million.
for the Department of Agriculture solely for enforcement
Saan
and
po?
smuggling.
Smuggling. So bakit kailangan niyo pa po confidential fund kung smuggling pinag-uusapan? Nandiyan naman po ang Bureau of Customs na meron din
I don't know. It's
confidential fund.
given to us, Mr. Senator.
So surrender nyo na lang po at ibigay nyo lang po sa ibang mga agency na nangailangan talaga tulad ng Coast Guard. Siguro kailangan natin dahil palaging nagkakaproblema tayo sa West Philippines.
Pasagutin mo sila yung
Hindi, ma'am.
According
mo na lang kailangan.
the enforcement agency against smuggler and cartel and ano would be coming from the law enforcement agency,
Law
not
enforcement.
from
Yeah, but
DA.
let me ask.
Kasi yun ang sinabi niya po na 50 million daw binigay sa kanya. Kung binigay sa inyo, hindi pala kailangan, di isoli nyo na lang.
Sabi mo sa
No,
enforcement
but we have
agency.
ASEC Layog to
Okay,
answer that,
you explain
question.
ASEC Layug.
Yes, sir. Nung lumabas yung NEP, sir, they allocated 50 million confidential fund to be dedicated sana dun sa surveillance operation for anti-agricultural smuggling operation, sir. And
Nandiyan naman po yung PNP, nandiyan
Yes,
naman po yung customs.
yes, sir. Well noted po yung
So, soli nyo na lang yung confidential fund, yung kailangan yun.
yes, sir.
Idagdag nyo lang sa Coast Guard siguro kung sa mga taga-military natin.
Yes, sir.
Diba? O dili kayo, yung i-reallocate nyo lang sa hybrid program na para tumaas yung rice production.
We will make the adjustment, realignment. Actually, the one who will enforce after the anti-agricultural economic sabotage will be the law enforcement. So we don't need.
Exactly. So, paki-cancel na lang, ano? Huwag na kayo magka-confidential fund dyan. Pandagdag pa kayo. Last na naman po. 50 million is 50 million. That's a lot of money. Okay. So, wala naman kayong paggagamitan. So, solid nyo na lang. I-realign na lang daw, sabi ni Madam Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
Madam Chair, because when he reported to us, he presented something that I think the department needs. So maybe request him to explain and to expound on the achievements that they've done.
Kasi hindi, sir, sa enforcement kasi ang binanggit nyo, kaya kayo nagkaroon ng confidential fund. Kung enforcement, PNP yan.
Yeah.
And customs. Oh, no customs. Okay. Well then, dapat yung confidential fund mabigay doon sa PNP para sila ang bibili ng mga information, ang maggagawa ng surveillance tungkol doon sa mga smuggler. Or pagdating kasi sa smuggling, customs po talaga, Madam Chair. Meron kasing
The customs kasi, nagpasa na kami nung anti-smuggling law in 2016, walang nahuli. 7 years walang nahuli, walang nakasuhan. So ngayon, yung filing of cases would be done by the DOJ and the enforcement by the PNP and other law enforcement agencies. Nilagay namin sa batas.
so that means papasok na po yung PNP sa loob ng pier.
Yeah, they have
That
power.
will open to corruption.
At least before, wala yung BOC, wala silang nahuli. 7 years. Wala po tayong napakulong na
Opo, I
smuggling
agree.
for
I agree.
7 years.
So siguro po,
Pero hindi naman purely PNP, basta they call it the Enforcement Council. The enforcement group and the tawag dito, filing of cases would be the DOJ, and the enforcement would be the enforcement group, and then yung policy would be done by the different department. It's in the law.
I know,
We have pass it in the law.
Nakapa-
We have finish it. Oo.
maybe
Nag-amendment lang ang minority.
sa amendment.
Oo.
Okay, sige po, ako po yung maggagawa ng amendment then
Okay.
para sa akin. Hindi po karapat-dapat ang PNP ang gagawa ng enforcement when it comes to anti-smuggling.
Agency, hindi lang
Kasi po, in the past, may experience na po na nalubog lang po sa korupsyon. Nung pinanghimasukan yung PNP, ginamit po ng Presidential Anti-Smuggling Group. Nandun po yung PNP, nagkagewang-gewang, lumakas lalo yung smuggling. Kasi yung mga polis, hindi naman po sanay yung pag-iimbestiga sa smuggling. Ang sanay po polis to solve crime.
na-sign lahat sa Bureau of Customs, walang na-prosecute eh.
It's just a matter of,
Bago namin,
tama po.
parang may
linisin na po siguro yung mga tamad doon,
oo.
pagtatanggal yung mga corrupt. Pero dapat talaga sa customs because they know customs law. The PNP doesn't know anything about
No, but the
customs
law,
tariff and law.